Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius. Today we're going to talk about some very awesome stuff. We have a parkour video game of misery, a book about Helen Keller, and we have a totally awesome guest. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Kevin Sutton. Kevin is a longtime broadcaster of the Kevin Sutton Show, which aired on ESPN, and the First Lady of Myra Uribe, who was on the show a month ago.
Well, I am glad to be here, and I hope we can have a very exciting time.
Well,
Definitely going to be better than Myra. I know that for sure.
I don't know.
Come on, man.
But today we're going to start off with a video game of the week, and this is going to be some pain.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
Today's video game is Tower of Misery. This is a game on the Roblox platform. It was made by Limitless Studio. Because it is on Roblox, you have to play it on PC, Mac, Xbox, and even your cell phone. And it is free. First off, I got into the game, and it was pretty cool. So I went onto a ladder, and I see an easy parkour. So I do the parkour, and it gets harder and harder. So you can get to the last one, and then I just fail. If you fail, you restart and do the whole thing again. Also, there's a timer for you to finish the tower, and if the time runs out, it displays a different parkour course you have to do. So I hate when I fall and die, because I restart and I was trying over and over for hours. Like, hours. Then I was screaming at my computer like, you suck! So my dad said, if you scream one more time, you go to bed. So it was like 12 o'clock when I was supposed to go to bed. Dad said, you only have one more time. Oh, and then I see an ad that says only 1% can beat this game. I doubt you can do this. So I became determined to beat it. With my determination. Then on my last try, I beat it!
So you're one of the 1%ers there?
Yep.
Okay, I like that.
I give Tower of Misery 10 out of 10 stars because the parkour was so much fun and so easy. And now I get why they call it Tower of Misery, because you rage so hard every time you fail.
Love it.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties. Contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
And now it's time for the book of the week, who was Helen Keller. This book is written by Garrett Thompson. Let me read you the back of the book. In fact, Kevin, do you want to do the honors?
I don't mind, my brother. I can help you out with that. Who was Helen Keller? A woman who could not see or hear, a best-selling author, a famous world traveler, or all of the above. Find out more about the real Helen Keller in this fun and exciting illustrated biography.
So this is an AR book that's worth one whole point. It is rated for 4th grade in first month. You can get this book in your school library. This is a great book about Helen Keller, a person who is deaf and blind. So how was she able to live her life? But she had her teacher to help her. So she was born blind. A few weeks later, they learned that she could not hear as well. So how will a child survive being blind and deaf? So as she gets older, Helen learned to make signs with her hands to show what she wanted to say. So she would follow her mother around holding her skirt. Then she gets a teacher named Anne Sullivan, who changed her life. She taught her how to spell in her hand, and over time, Helen learned over 400 words a year. They moved into a cottage next to the house so that they could work on studies without her parents' distraction. She wanted to write stories. Anne wrote about Helen, and that made her famous. Helen wanted to write as well. Helen went to college and even worked as a speaker. So my favorite part is that she did write a book, and this is part of my school project that I'm doing next week.
Super win. I love that.
Yep. So I give Who Was Helen Keller 10 out of 10 stars because I really like that she lived a full and happy life about learning how to work with her disabilities. Oh, and she got to meet the President of the United States. Now, is that not cool?
That is awesome. She's actually a really amazing woman. I got to learn about her when I was in school.
Oh, wow. See, Kevin Smith, Law.com.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
Wait, you are not Chuck.
My dad can help when people get hurt. He loves to help.
If you are ever injured at work or in a car accident, you should call my friend Chuck.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
The website again is cwsmithlaw.com.
Offices, Orlando.
Does it actually have that much W's?
Mid-State Fire has been providing top-quality fire equipment services for 3 generations to the Central Florida area. Don't wait for an emergency to repair. Call Mid-State Fire today at 407-246-8855. Get your fire extinguishers and emergency lighting for both your home and businesses by visiting www.midstatefire.com. That number again is 407-246-8855. And now it's time for the interview of an interesting person. Today's guest is going to be so much fun. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Kevin Sutton. Kevin is a longtime broadcaster of the Kevin Sutton Show, which aired on ESPN, and the First Lady of Myra Uribe, who's on the show a month ago.
Yes. That is me, Kevin Sutton of the Kevin Sutton Show on ESPN Radio, 5 days a week. It was just a whole big experience. It was a really cool thing I did in life.
Wow. So first off, how are you enjoying being on the show?
Oh, your show? This is kind of cool. Like, I haven't had the opportunity to do like a real interview in a long time. So like this is awesome.
Dang.
Especially during this situation we're in with COVID. Yeah, so getting to get outside and getting to be in a fresh studio is actually amazing.
Like coronavirus. So you have been a broadcaster on the radio with your own show.
Yes.
So what got you interested in having your own radio show?
It was a fluke, to tell you the truth. I actually got involved in entertainment since I was a kid. Did a lot of different things involved that a lot of plays and skits and stuff like that I used to do with my dad's church, and then we started doing a couple of shows throughout the county, and then we did a couple of shows out of the state, and that was entertaining. And I always felt like I wanted to be involved in the entertainment industry. And as I got a little bit older, I kind of let that dream go to the side, and having to be my wife re-inspired me to get involved again. And she was running for office. She didn't win. That was back in 2010. But while she was doing all of her interviews and going around and traveling, trying to get, that elected position, she happened to meet one of the executive people for ESPN Deportes, which was here in Orlando with ESPN 1080. And they said, hey, you know what? We really enjoyed you. You're really good in marketing and sales. Could you help us get some little things going? We would like you to get in with the radio studio with us to help us market the program. And she says, I really don't know much about sports. I really don't pay attention outside of soccer, and I don't really have the time. And they were like, well, you should just come in and see. And when she went to go and do the interview, she talked to them about some stuff and actually pitched me. And at that time, I was competing wakeboarding across the state of Florida and made it semi-pro. And she told them about my wakeboarding stuff and told them I'm African American, which is not very common in the wakeboard industry. And told them that I do stand-up comedy. And they said, hey, could we meet him? And next thing you know, I got offered a position with ESPN Sports Radio, doing a show on Saturdays that was all action sports. And then that kind of took off. The NBA did a couple of stories on us. It went viral, and they were like, hey, maybe we should get him to do some other stuff. And then I got the opportunity to be with them we went from 1 day a week to going 3 days a week, and then did the All-Stars game. And that happened really cool. And then that got pushed out there, and then we got an offer to do 5 days a week. Wow. So it was literally all because of my wife. So if you ever decide to get married, pick someone that's going to support your dreams just as much as you do theirs.
Mm-hmm. So what was the best part about working in the broadcasting?
Best part in the broadcast business, I would say the opportunities to help people. Connect, getting to connect people. From my show, what we did is we always interviewed professional athletes, but we also brought in the atmosphere of bringing in amateur athletes and intertwining the two. So you know, without the future, there's no present, and without the present, there's no past. So we always try to make sure we got kids that were professional wakeboarders to interview. Their interviews would be done at the same time that we would have an amateur athlete, and then we would do like professional basketball players and have amateur basketball players come in the studio at the same time and interact their lives together and kind of see how they can work in a good atmosphere.
So have you been able to interview any famous people?
Oh, man, I got a long list of that. Tony Hawk, Travis Pastrana, LeBron James, Magic Johnson, and I would say one of the coolest interviews that I've gotten to do would be, I would say Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was really cool.
Well, were you nervous when you met them?
I wouldn't say nervous. It was more like there was always a build-up. So, like, I never got to interview anyone bigger than where I was at as, like, a radio show personality. It was more meeting people gradually as you grow. So the bigger the show got, the bigger the guests that we got to have. And so it kind of fit. You know, I didn't just skip, like, you know, interviewing, you know, I would say like interviewing a local skateboarder, and then all of a sudden the next week I was interviewing Tony Hawk. So I kind of had that build up.
Like, wasn't it nerve-wracking?
I enjoy it though. I enjoy the pressure. I enjoy getting to talk with people. I mean, you do it all the time. It's not like a thing where you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so nervous. It's more of like the little bit of show jitters, regardless of who's here. Even if you were here by yourself, I'm sure you get those little jitters, like you just want to get everything right. You want to make sure everything goes good. And sometimes there's technical issues. I think I get more jittery about those. Like we were interviewing the owners, the creator of Vans, and some reason his name goes blank on me. I'm horrible with names too. So we had him on for the interview, and literally the whole studio crashed. The satellite broke. There was like no signal going through, and I literally went up maybe about 400 flights of stairs on a satellite tower to adjust the dish. So we could still have the show, because it would have literally got crashed that day. So they were like, it was good that I did construction for a living too, but I went up on the tower and reconnected the satellite signal.
So then did it work?
Yeah. Oh, everything worked. We did the interview. We were only about 15 minutes behind schedule, but to get an interview set up like that and then all of a sudden everything go wrong was kind of like a really bad situation.
Yeah. So does it take a lot of training to be a broadcaster?
Yes, it definitely does take a lot of training. There's a lot of schooling that you can go to. You can go to the Kinetic School of Broadcasting, or you can go to Full Sail. They have a great broadcasting program there. Actually got to become a kind of a teacher, like a substitute teacher. Got to go in and help them with their broadcasting program, and that was really cool. But a lot of people go to school for a lot of time in order to get their career set for doing broadcasting. But learning how to work all the equipment, learning sales and marketing, that was the biggest thing.
So what was the hardest part about working as a broadcaster?
Oh, the hardest part, I would say the commitment of time.
And that is true.
Yeah, commitment of time, learning everybody's information, learning who they are, kind of figure out the best questions to ask to fit the person that you're interviewing, and then you don't want to duplicate your questions.
Especially the names.
Yeah.
That's really hard.
The names are, oh my goodness, there's some names out there that are really, really hard.
Yes. That is true. So do you have to write your own scripts?
We have interns. At the beginning, I was doing my own. And then we got a couple of interns from Full Sail and UCF that would literally do all the grunt work.
So what is your greatest achievement while working with your own radio show?
The greatest achievement, I would say that would be I created a program called Show Your Best Before You Buy. Pun intended. And the best before you buy was I partnered up with Best Buy, and we created a food pantry. So we literally collected clothes, food, and toiletries for the homeless families here in Central Florida. And I camped out in front of the Best Buy across the street from the Florida Mall and stayed there pretty much the whole time during Black Friday. You know how people camp out for to get a great deal on a TV and great sales for Black Friday? Well, I would camp out and live in front of the store, and people would bring canned food and clothes and stuff to me while I was there. We stored it in the van and then donated it to the some of the Christian service centers, Catholic charities here in Central Florida. And so the longest time I stayed out started with 3 days. Then I did a bunch of interviews and the news came out, and then we did 10 days, and then we made it more the next year. Then we did 15, and the next year we did 20 something, 23, 24. Then we did 27, and then we did 33. Then we did 37 days that I lived homeless, no shower, no bath, literally just wiping off with baby wipes and brushing my teeth and eating only cold food, canned food, which you will learn a lot of eating canned food, that it's really high in sodium, and there's a lot of skin allergies that you can get and lacerations. But learning to live safely as much as possible as a homeless person, kind of just seeing the plight of what goes on and what families deal with living on homeless, and being able to help out so many families. We've did almost 6 tons one time of canned food that we got to donate to homeless shelters. A lot of famous people came out to see me. Shaquille O'Neal. We had some stand-up comedians. We had other professional athletes, political people came out. We had some politicians sleep out there with me overnight. We've had the Boy Scouts came out in their tents and slept. We did like a camp out in front of the OBT, which is a little bit of a strange place. I've seen a lot of things, but that bringing awareness to homeless here in Central Florida, and being able to use my voice in radio to get the word out and change people's lives was actually pretty amazing.
So what advice do you give my listeners if they wanted to grow up in, okay, you know I want to be a broadcaster, so what advice would you give me to get better?
I would say this. 1, you're not wanting to be a broadcaster. You are. That's the first step. Second, I would say, in order to pursue anything in life, it's really about having someone that believes in you, and that starts with you believing in yourself, and then having a great support team that makes these dreams come true. So it's all about having, 1, you're lucky to be born to a great family that cares about you and wants to see you achieve. And I know for sure any of those things you can do in life.
Okay. So I see from your bio that you also started a nonprofit called All Star Dads.
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
So All Star Dads, it's a nonprofit where we help new becoming fathers to learn how to deal with a baby So learning how to hold a baby, understanding the lactation process, understanding what it is to be a father, being involved in a child's life. And a lot of guys get confused when it comes to being a good father. Starts with monetary. So you want to be with your kids, so you want to make sure that you have enough money. But your time is not based upon just money. Your time is your understanding and caring for your child and being there emotionally, not just monetary. So not just money. You want to be there with your time. And that is the key to being successful as a parent, and understanding that there's going to be a lot of emotion that goes on with the new mom of having a baby, and how you can be that part of it, changing diapers, helping with the feedings, bath times. So we help guys with all that, and we do that with all the hospitals here in Central Florida. And so we help guys realize that they can do everything a woman can do except for have the baby.
Yes.
And breastfeeding, which is a little strange for you, but those are the two things that you can't do as a guy.
True. So you're also the first lady for one of our Orange County commissioners. Can you tell me about that?
Yes. So my wife is Maya Uribe. She's the Orange County Commissioner for District 3, and I'm the first lady. And the funniest thing is that my dad started that nonsense. But it's not very common. Most people don't know what a first man is. Like, as soon as you say the first man, like, what are you talking about? But first lady is very popular. Everybody knows what it insinuates is, so my dad would say it so much on the job sites whenever I said I had to leave to go and do something politically involved. He says, "Oh, you're going to do your first lady duties?" So I kept it, and I stuck with it, and so I used the first lady. But it involves, like, helping with the community, doing fundraisers, backpack giveaways, neighborhood cleanups, organizing charitable giveaways and stuff like that, helping nonprofits. And so these are the things that I do, even attending homeowner associations when she doesn't have the time. So I really enjoy those duties.
What is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
I really don't think you forgot to ask anything. You're pretty great, man. You did a great job. I'm blessed to even be here right now.
Well, thank you, Kevin, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for me in the corners?
Yes, sir.
Aw, Dad, my computer's slow again and I can't play my games.
Call Your Computer Solutions today, and we will scan for viruses and clean that computer up remotely and make it fast again. Our phone number is 407-826-0810.
Thanks, Dad. My computer's fast again. Now I can do my homework. Thanks for calling Your Computer Solutions at 407-826-0810. The Tiberius Show would like to thank Boggy Creek Airboat Adventures for being one of our sponsors. I got to go on an airboat and saw a real gator. I even got to go to the gem mine and mine for some gems. We ate a steak dinner at the restaurant and even got some gator bites. If you want to have a blast with the entire family, I suggest you go to www.bcairboats.com right now to get your tickets today. The website again is bcairboats.com. Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
Well, thank you, Kevin, for helping me with Math Corners. Today, we're going to talk about rounding. So, I am back in school, and we have been talking about rounding. Rounding is when you either round up or down to have easier numbers to work with. So, if Kevin's show has a sponsor that pays $1,323 a month, well, I could round it down to the nearest 100 and say it averaged $1,300 a month. So, now to round a number, you have to know the place value it is getting rounded to the nearest. So if you're rounding 84 to the nearest 10 place, then you have to look at the tens place and see 8. Then you look at the place to the right. Now, if that number is lower than 5, then you round it down. But if it is higher or equal to 5, you round up.
Mm-hmm.
So 80 would be the answer because 4 is less than 5. Now, if the number was 56, the answer would be 60 because the ones digit is 5 or greater.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to math problems, always be sure to look at the place value first. Some math books will try to trick you by changing the place value unit after you do a bunch with the same unit.
Don't want that to happen.
Oh, no. So, Kevin, do you now know all about how to do rounding?
I do now.
Well, do you use rounding at all at work?
Actually, I do. I use rounding a lot. My dad's a general contractor, and so in construction, he always felt that he would never round down when it would come to certain jobs. And depending on how much labor was involved, he would always make sure that the labor, as in the work that we do, was never going to be infringed upon rounding down. It would always round up. So before we submitted the bid, we would round it up. So in case a customer came at us with, hey, I need a break, we could go down, but it would never be past what we really wanted. And I do the same thing with my radio show stuff.
Huh?
So if I get a sponsor that's like, hey, I'm like, it's $2,000, and they're like, well, could you give us a break? I really didn't want more than 15. So we can make it work depending on what we want to do. So we find a number right in between. But that's bartering. That's what you have to do in life and have to do in your math class.
That is true. Well, thank you so much, Kevin, for your help with math class.
No problem, brother.
Well, as you know, we talk about the qualities of living up by a heart of a lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. This week, we are going to talk about obedience. For me, I think obedience is being fully committed to doing what is pleasing to God. But the qualities of obedience are compliance with a good attitude and respect for the laws. Because you know when someone is obedient, when they follow instructions willingly and thoroughly. So this week, I really do not enjoy wearing a mask. At certain times, we are allowed to have the mask off at school. I have to remember to put it back on when I get away from the shield at my desk. I work out remembering even though I do not like to have the mask itch at my face. Well, it is hard to do things you don't want to do. But these are tasks to be done for a reason. The mask is designed to help us stop the spread of the virus. Even if I don't like the mask, I don't like the virus more. Also, my mom and dad are wearing these masks every time they leave the house. Well, Kevin, did you see or use obedience at all this week?
Yes, I actually did use obedience this week.
Well, of all the heart of the lion virtues, which is your favorite?
I definitely would say obedience. You know,
why?
sometimes when things aren't going right and things aren't going the way that you want, obedience normally takes over and it allows you to be successful in life. Just like you're saying how you do in school. You're like, the mask is bothering you, it's itchy, and but you hold it till that moment you get behind your plexiglass and then you're able to take it off and feel free.
How did you know that?
Yeah.
Because it was plexiglass.
Yes.
Like, what?
It's the moment that you're like, oh my goodness, I was waiting for this. And it's the same thing with speeding. We have to do obedience every day in our lives, especially as children and even more so as adults.
That is very true.
Yes.
And we should always try and be lion strong in everything we do.
Always lion strong. Yes. Always.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Kevin Sutton for being on my show.
That's me.
Yes. Well, it has been so much fun talking with you today. And I hope one day to visit your studio and learn from your experience as a broadcaster.
Awesome. I would definitely want to say thank you for allowing me to be here today. It definitely was one of the most enjoyable interviews I've ever had out of all my years. And I think what you're doing is great. And you and your dad have an awesome duo here. Kind of like Batman and Robin, but I don't know who's Batman.
And be sure to listen to us next week on The Tiberius Show.
I will.
Tiberius!
The Tiberius Show is not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Executive producer Joseph Boy. Production editor Pierre Laguerre. Green Room manager Danny Boy. And your program host, Tiberius Boy. The Tiberius Show is copyright 2018.